Oily woods such as teak and Iroko can be troublesome when it comes to applying some finishes. Ideally, they want a finish that will allow them to breathe somewhat, which would usually steer you in the direction of oils. However, if you'd like to still retain a glossy finish, then Epifanes Woodfinish Gloss would be my recommendation. In this video, we're going to take a look through the basics that you'll need to know in order to apply it. So, Woodfinish Gloss is an alternative to traditional varnish, specifically formulated for oily woods that like to breathe, such as teak and Iroko. It is also suitable for use over all other wood species, including plywood, and it can be applied over all existing single and two-part varnish systems. It is a highly flexible finish, making it suitable for use on surfaces that are working or with seams that may otherwise be prone to cracking. Providing you do not exceed 5 coats with application, Woodfinish Gloss will remain breathable. This, among other benefits, reduces the chances of dark spots appearing underneath the varnish over time. In exterior applications, however, a minimum of 7 to 8 coats should be applied for sufficient UV protection of the wood. Application can be done by either brush or spray, and due to the unique properties of this varnish, it can be overcoated without the need for sanding in between coats if done within a 72-hour window at 18 degrees C or 65F. This is a great feature that will allow you to build more of a film thickness up before the need for sanding, a very useful asset in instances where you may have previously stained a surface that you don't want to risk breaking through. For boats that remain in the water long term, the use of this product should be restricted to above the waterline only. For items such as launches and canoes that are removed from the water after use, this can be used for all areas both above and below the waterline. So let's take a look at how to apply it. In this video, I'm going to apply this system to a piece of Iroko, similar to a typical hand or capping rail that you might see on a yacht. Oily woods such as teak and Iroko can be problematic with some varnish systems, causing issues with drying or sometimes effectively pushing the finish off the surface. And for that reason, we need to undertake a slightly different surface preparation approach. The wood must first be dry with a moisture content of no more than 17%. Thoroughly degrease the surface. This should be done with an aggressive degreaser. Acetone is the ideal product for this, but you can also use the Epifanes PP Varnish Thinner. Degrease the surface using a light coloured cloth. Turn the cloth regularly and continue this process until no further colour is coming off on the cloth. Allow the solvents to evaporate and then sand the wood to a fresh surface. Starting off coarse is absolutely fine. Anything from 60 grit upwards will quickly freshen up the surface of the wood. Progressively sand up through the grit range, going up to no finer than 220 grit. Sand in the direction of the wood grain to avoid creating cross-grain scratches. Once sanded, vacuum off any remaining dust and degrease the surface once again, following the same process. For the first application coat on bare wood, the varnish should be thinned at 25% by volume. The Epifanes brush thinner for single part paints would be my recommendation for this. Thinning will increase the penetration of the varnish into the wood for the initial coat. When coating over an existing finish, the first coat should be thinned around 10% to increase the bond to the existing system. Apply the first coat with a brush, working it well into the wood grain, and always finish up with a tipping pass in the direction of the wood grain. This heavily thinned first coat will soak into the wood grain, and this is what you want for a good adhesion to the wood fibres. Allow the first coat to dry. Recoatable drying times for this varnish are going to be around 24 hours at 20 degrees C or 68F, but that will increase to around 40 hours if you are down at 10 degrees C or 50F. Application below 8 degrees C or 46F is not recommended. If subsequent coats are applied within 72 hours at 18 degrees C or 65F, then there is no need to sand the previous coat. However, a light sanding is recommended to keep the surface nice and flat. A Scotch-Brite pad is an ideal product for this, particularly on curved surfaces. Sand all coats at 320 to 400 grit. Sanding by hand is recommended for this product instead of machine sanding. After sanding, vacuum off the surface and degrease. Once you've begun application, degreasing should be done with a less aggressive product. The Epifanes spray thinner for single part paints, denatured alcohol or methylated spirits would be my recommendation for this. Apply remaining coats with brush or spray. A total of no more than 5 coats should be applied on internal bare wood systems if you would like to retain breathability of the wood. Consider that if you are finishing over an existing varnish system, then this may also affect the breathability. If you're applying this varnish in an exterior application, then a minimum of 7 to 8 coats should be applied. If you are applying by spray, a gravity-fed HVLP gun is recommended for application. Thin the varnish at 15 to 20% using the Epifanes single part spray thinner. Use a 1.2 to 1.5 mm nozzle. Set your pressure at 2 to 3 bar or 29 to 43 psi, and if you're using a DIN cup to check the viscosity, this should measure a time of 20 to 24 seconds with a 4 mm cup. Apply coats in the same way that you would with a brush. Allow each coat to fully dry. Sand it lightly at 320 to 400 grit, clean, degrease, and then proceed with the following coat. Or apply subsequent coats after the drying time has elapsed, but within the 72-hour overcoat window. Epifanes Woodfinish Gloss is compatible with a range of other Epifanes products that will help you to speed up or tweak the application process. For example, Epifanes PP Extra Varnish is a fast-building, flexible 2-part varnish. It allows you to progress through the build-up stages by applying multiple coats in a day without the need for sanding in between each coat. You can build up your initial coats with this quickly, then finish it off with at least 3 clear wood finish gloss top coats for a deep gloss, flexible, UV resistant finish. Epifanes Rapid Clear is a single part alternative product for this process, again designed for the rapid application of multiple build-up coats without the need for sanding in between coats. If you'd like to end up with a non-glossy finish, then wood finish is also available in a matte finish. This is the recommended product for exterior use matte finishes on wood. Take a look at some of my other video guides for tutorials on some of these alternative products. So there we go, a flexible, breathable, high gloss alternative to traditional single part varnish, specifically developed for oily woods such as teak and Iroko. If you have any questions, then feel free to ask them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them or put them to the technical team at Epifanes if I'm not able. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.